Hello, friends. Welcome back to Sunday Shenanigans with me, your host, Trevor Stewart 1308, and we are here with the ASOC Prod Cat and the Peanut Gallery. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Close enough. Ahaha. I I feel like you guys are missing our opening gag here. Because it's say hi, guys, and you guys are supposed to say hi, guys.
Well, it works just as long as it's not overdone, and we've done it for several months in a row.
True, but I want the audience to have the same opening every time so that they just sort of slide comfortably into it.
But we can't do the slight changes like the Simpsons note on the chalkboard.
We can. I can't guarantee that it won't end up like this, though.
Oh, it'll definitely end up like this, which means that it will become the same opening as we discuss why we're saying weird things.
Right? Every time. Today's pre-rolls brought to you by the Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, Virginia, on the Downtown Mall, 105 West Main Street, above the brick, Suite 200. A great place to go with some great buds to get some great buds. A bud, and the only thing better than their bud is their customer service. They also have the lowest prices in town, according to my own highly biased research, by which I mean I was incredibly high when I did my biased research. Don't forget to check the website for times and events. The website is thehiddenleafcville.com. That's thehiddenleafcville.com. And a note of disclosure, we are a bunch of opinionated people here, especially on our weekend shows. So any opinions you hear expressed herein are those of the expressor, possibly the channel, possibly the label, but not necessarily the opinions of any of our advertisers, including the Hidden Leaf, the Kush Gang, purveyor of fine edibles, and Firehouse Craft Organic Farms. I'm not sure that they're organic craft farms.
Have I mentioned how weird it is to be I hear artisanal and craft this and that for bread and various juices and milk and cheese, especially cheese.
Pickles. I make artisanal craft pickles.
So I'm used to hearing that about a lot of
well,
foods.
It's the same concept. It's a small batch, artisan made, artisan grown, artisan cured, artisan produced. So it is craft, and it falls under that small batch craft artisanal product sort of umbrella. Hi, Jessamy Crystal. Much love.
The problem is, they are craft, they are artisanal, but their skills are such that everything they produce just goes to pot.
I feel like I should have seen that coming, but I feel like there might have been a smoke screen, and I'm just a dope. Dope.
I believe that was an effort to hog the whole joke.
You mean Bogart the joke?
Yes. There we go.
Don't
I can remember
Bogart the joke, man. Punchline, pass, bro. You're bogarting the joke. You're messing up the rotation, man.
Dude, it's pollen season. We got enough bogeys as it is.
God, do we?
Tell me about it.
No, we don't want to gross out the poor people that have come to listen to jokes and riddles.
Biggest riddle is, why are we here?
42.
No, the biggest riddle is how many internet issues are we gonna have today?
Because we are.
Yeah.
Those are the answers. 42 and because we are. I'm dyslexic. I might have gotten the order of the answers mixed up, though.
Something like that.
Oh, happy Mother's Day. Yes. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. And all you mother figures out there. Yes. Happy birthday. Or happy Mother's Day.
Well, you can argue it is happy birthday.
It is for someone. Someone's birthday is today. Happy birthday to them. And happy unbirthday to the rest of you. Have a very merry unbirthday. Unbirthday?
Yes.
What? What
For a
did
number of those who call themselves mothers, it is the day that you celebrate a birth.
Yes.
So it is still a birthday.
Yes.
In other words, you can say happy birthday, happy unbirthday, happy Mother's Day, happy whatever day, and we will wholeheartedly support you with it.
Happy Get Effed Day.
That's kind of every day, but yeah.
Right? Yes, but happy today to everybody. Happy Mother's Day, though, specifically. And a large part of that, I do want to stop and recognize why there is a Mother's Day. And a large part of that is because, you know, it really was being a mother is a full-time job on top of everything else that you have to, all the other performative actions you have to take in society to be a woman, you know, plus being a mother. And, you know, where this came from is that, you know, originally motherhood really wasn't that celebrated. Women weren't that celebrated, and they needed a day. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. I don't know who started it. I don't know how it started. I think it's a great idea. And it was a day to recognize the toil and the struggle of being a mother, you know, as opposed to the privilege of being a father and being a man in a society that generally celebrates men and does not celebrate women. So this is a very, you know, a very progressive holiday at its roots. And that's part of why I like taking a moment to appreciate it. Just to prove that I don't hate everything out there just because I'm your friend that is too woke.
Oh.
There are
Nice.
things...
It started in West Virginia.
Oh, hey. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a good thing that came from West Virginia. So, yeah, I just wanted to prove to people that you can be that friend that is too woke and still like things. You don't have to hate everything.
You're woke, not emo.
I'm goth, not emo.
Yes, but another characteristic of the quote-unquote emo is hating most everything.
Yes. And that is something that is misattributed to goths. goths are believed to be like emos like that, where they just kind of hate everything. Nothing has any meaning. Everything is, everything is everything. Or everything is nothing. Nihilism. Oh, woe is we. But the thing is, goths do have passion and love in their hearts. They aren't completely jaded. They don't hate everything. In fact, I mean, I'm speaking about us like we're a monolith. The only thing you need to be a goth is to be into gothic music. There is no other defining characteristic of a goth. I just so happen to perform goth like activities in public, so I appear to be a goth on the outside.
So, does that mean I'm a goth because I enjoy Gregorian chants?
No, because those weren't Ostrogoth or Visigoth. Those were Gregorian. You would have to find Ostrogoth and Visigoth music to be a goth of that type.
I do appreciate you deflating that joke.
But I have a counter question to that.
Okay.
For goth, is one of the requirements having a monochrome clothing selection?
No. No, you can have whatever clothing you want as long as you listen to goth music. However, performing the monochrome clothing selection, performing the makeup and the, and okay, so yes, you don't have to have the monochrome because red is allowed, browns and greens are allowed. And pink in contrast with black is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, all of these things also, some goths dress in very dark blue. And famously, Chubby Robert Smith, wore bright blue sneakers.
Okay.
So, also on the cover of Kiss Them For Me, I think was the name of the album, Susie Sue was in a bright yellow dress. Visual goth has a very wide range of possibilities. Just like music, musically, there's a wide range of possibilities. Again, the only thing that you have to do to be gothic, to be a modern goth, is listen to goth music and like it. I mean, you could listen to it and hate it, like some friends I have who I would not call goths, even though they look the part. And even down to saying they're not a goth, which is classically one of the ways you perform being a goth, is saying you're not one. I don't hold to that to be a universal truth because I find it to be off-putting to people like me who want to claim the title and listen to the music and perform gothness in public. So, but there are friends who do listen to goth music, absolutely hate it, complain about it, look the part, aren't goth.
That is very thought-provoking. Thank you, Trevor.
You're welcome. I'm thinking of one friend in particular.
I feel attacked.
No, not you.
My hands are over here.
I don't think I have no idea if you like the music or not. I have a friend from back in the day who would just tear down all gothic music, all music that fit into that. I don't remember him being. I remember him being a fan of maybe one or two songs here and there, but really just kind of hating gothic music. And that's fine. That is what it is. I'm not like, you know, I have friends who can't listen to country music, who hate country music because it gives them a headache. There's something in the music that really just some tone that hits them wrong and causes them to have physical pain in their head. So they hate country music.
It also depends on which variety of country.
No, it's down. It's become all of them now. They can't listen to anything, even remotely country. I don't even think they can listen to southern rock anymore.
What about Old Town Road?
Nope. And because it's not just headache, it's migraine level headache, I don't push it with them. I don't try to be like, okay, let's try this. It started out with harmonica music. Specifically, it was the harmonica that used to give them migraines. And then it just progressed. It's like, oh, crap. And it's not like they don't like the music per se, or the message, or whatever. It's that it literally gives them a migraine. It's like they're allergic to country music.
Being allergic to any music is just
Unfortunate, ain't it? Especially because they're a music lover and they have perfect pitch.
Oh yeah, that's even worse.
Yep.
What does baseball have to do with anything?
What?
What does baseball have to do with anything?
What's on second? Who's on first? That is both of you going, nope, I'm not buying into this. We are not starting this bit.
I unfortunately do not know the bit well enough to do it. Sorry.
You don't know the bit.
Oh, I know the bit. I just don't remember the specifics of it to go into it well enough.
So all of a sudden, I'm tempted to play it because I have several versions of the bit because I DJ. I mix it in when I'm DJing. Because I can't do anything normal. When I'm DJing, I have to put jokes into the music. I don't understand why. I did it once and it just felt good, so I just kept doing it.
Fair enough.
That's how we got into this overpopulation problem, isn't it?
Kinda.
In 1908, the U.S. Congress rejected a proposal to make a Mother's Day an official holiday, joking that they would also have to proclaim a Mother-in-Law's Day. However, owning to the efforts of Anna Jarvis, by 1911, all U.S. states observed the holiday, with some of them officially recognizing Mother's Day as a local holiday, the first being Jarvis's home state of West Virginia in 1910. In 1914, Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation designating Mother's Day a national holiday. From Wikipedia.
Yes.
That's
So it
interesting.
was introduced by a West Virginian and ratified by a Virginian.
Basically.
I'm moving right along because ain't nothing I'm about to say gonna be right.
I haven't stopped you before.
Oh yeah, it
You haven't
has.
stopped English before.
It stops me all the time. All the time. Just because my brain says it to the rest of my brain doesn't mean my mouth needs to say it out loud. That has been an important lesson in my life to learn.
I understand that, though there are times where in order to lessen my own pain, I must inflict upon others.
I respect that. I respect that, and I do that occasionally. Occasionally.
Hmm.
But oftentimes, I just take it. I just take the pain, bury it deep inside, and then wait for it to cause me to smoke an entire pack of cigarettes in a day. So, have I told you guys the joke about the small bunch of islands?
I don't believe so.
Oh, that's okay. There's not much there at all.
Nice.
Thank you.
No, I think that's in France.
What's a toll? Oh, about $1.50. Depends on what road you're riding on.
$3.75 down in Florida.
Dang.
Reminds me of another bit. Old entertainment. That's life. What's life? A magazine. How much? $2. Too much. That's life. What's life?
I don't know. Third base.
What?
That's a line from Who's on First. Every time somebody says, I don't know is on third base. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know's on third. That's what I'm trying to find out. Who's on first? Exactly.
Right. It has been a while since I've watched that played out fully.
I feel like we better get on with the episode, or else we're gonna be here all day.
I mean, it's happened before, so you're probably right.
And I did kind of promise to take Jen and the baby down to the river before it gets too late. So,
Okay.
all right. Much as I hate to, let's get on topic. Yeah, keep laughing. Keep laughing. Everybody clicked on everything?
I think so.
From Amazon One Medical.
Can we all
Have you
hear
ever
it?
been banished from your bed by a loved one because of a cold? Amazon
Trump has issued. Without us, where would the nation get its essential supply of thank you? Your support means so much to us, and of course, to the dads who need material.
From NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Alzo Slade filling in for Bill Curtis so I can finally tell Peter Sagal what to do. Here he is at the Studebaker Theater at the Fine Arts Building in Chicago, Illinois. Start talking now, Peter.
Thank you, Alzo. And thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here with us. It is a good day
It's an exciting time. Later on, we're going to be talking to Nathan Lane, who is star of Stage and Screen, and now he's the star of the new sitcom Mid-Century Modern, which people are calling the gay Golden Girls. So, what does that make the Golden Girls?
Right?
But first, before we get started, it is really nice to have Alzo Slade filling in for Bill this week. Alzo, I got to say, what made you want to leave the panel and take on the grave responsibilities of judge and scorekeeper?
It pays more.
And I'm glad you believed that when we told you. And we are glad you listeners out there are ready to do your job, which is to call in and play our games. The number is 1-888-WAIT-WAIT. That's 1-888-924-8924. Let's welcome our first listener contestant. Hi, you're on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Hi, Peter. It's Allison Becker from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis,
Hi,
that beautiful
Allison.
place. What do you do there?
I actually administer a grant to provide solar opportunities to income-qualified individuals.
That is very exciting. Solar opportunities, I assume you mean tanning, sunbathing. Kidding.
It might come to that after the inauguration.
That's true, yes. All right, well, welcome to the show, Allison. Let me introduce you to our panel this week. First up, it's the host of the daily podcast TBTL and the public radio variety show Live Wire, which will be live back at the Alberta Rose Theater Thursday, May 15th in Portland, Oregon. It's Luke Burbank.
Hey,
Hi, Luke.
Allison.
Hello.
They're booing for rolling back the subsidies for solar power.
Exactly. Next, it's a writer for Clean Slate, which is now on Amazon Prime. It's Shantira Jackson.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, Shantira.
And a writer who's absolutely essential Substack is Take Another Little Piece of My Heart Now. It's Roy Blunt Jr.
Hey, Roy.
So, Allison, welcome to the show. Your job is going to be the first person ever to play Who's Alzo this time. Alzo Slade, filling in for Bill, is going to read you 3 quotations from the week's news. If you can correctly identify or explain just 2 of them, you will win our prize, the voice of anyone you might choose from your voicemail. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, here is your first quote.
This is the greatest thing to happen to Chicago since the Cubs won the World Series.
That was a Chicago woman talking to NPR on Thursday, reacting to the news that who is from Chicago?
The Pope.
The new Pope.
The new Pope!
The Pope.
Ladies
Saying
and gentlemen.
prayers.
The Cubs won the World Series?
Yeah, they did. Now, the Pope has not lived in Chicago for decades, but that does not matter to us. We are so thirsty. We will say you are a Chicagoan if you have a long layover at O'Hare.
And is there any other kind?
Right.
I know.
I like it because I grew up Southern Baptist, and I don't really know too much about the popes. But I will say that this feels like the Olympics. It's the only time where I'm like, go America, go.
Really, yeah.
I'm like,
We're all patriots.
We won something, and I'll take the gold, even if it's a chalice.
You're like whitewater canoeing? That's a sport?
I
Okay.
was like, go America, go, baby. Let's beat them in something.
I know. It was so great when the smoke came out. It was white, then red, then blue. We knew. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I need not tell everyone that we are incredibly proud here in Chicago that one of our own has gotten the big chair, and by that I mean the big chair. One commenter on a news story here, this is true, he's like reading the news, and he like said, oh my God, this guy's been to my house. and this is true. He was reported to be a Cubs fan. Everybody assumes we're Cubs fans. And his brother called the news to correct the record. He is, in fact, a White Sox fan. Right?
Yes.
Imagine.
You really need the Lord if you care about the White Sox.
Exactly. Imagine suffering that much and still believing in God.
Oh,
Honestly, I think that's so funny that a White Sox fan became the Pope to try to help them.
I believe it, though. I believe it,
That's love
man.
for Chicago, baby. I'll become the Pope to try to get you a little bit of help.
Right?
That will be an interesting data point for the White Sox, who have not been so great
Not
recently.
good, no.
To see if their fortunes improve now that they have a direct line
Exactly.
to the creator.
They need that and a couple of more pitchers.
All right. Here is your next quote. It was from someone who was interviewed at an airport.
I just procrastinated. I could have gotten it done. I just didn't.
That was a traveler who did not have an important document you need to get on a plane as of Wednesday.
Real ID.
Real ID. Yeah.
What is it?
The real ID.
Real ID, yes.
As
You
soon as
now
I got
need
my
a real
license back,
ID
I got
to
a
get
real
through
ID.
security at the airport. That is, of course, the extra secure federally mandated ID, which requires proof of residency. So now the TSA, they'll just wave you through saying, oh, this guy can't be a terrorist. He provided an electricity bill from his house in Cleveland.
Right?
So remember, in case you're confused, you only need real ID to fly on a plane. If you're just going to a bar, you can continue to use fake ID.
They've been telling me
the
that for
joke.
years at the airport.
Yep.
Mr. Burbank, you need a real ID. This does not count that you have a note from your mom. Sir.
I don't know if people remember this. This was announced in 2006 that they were going to do that. This is true, and they finally did it.
Take that, Al Qaeda.
Yeah. So they announced it in 2006. They finally instituted it this week. Just think, Bill Belichick's girlfriend has spent her whole life worrying this day would come.
What is, I have a quote-unquote real ID, but I don't remember what I had to do differently to get that. It was just when I was renewing my driver's license, I think.
Yeah.
What is elevating the security of these IDs over the ones that we all have?
What it is when you go get it at the DMV, the person, they get the meanest person to come out, and they look at you and they say, is this really you?
Yeah, that's what happened.
No, the way it works is you have to bring all these documents proving that you have a social security number or that this, the other thing.
I think it's so rude because if I'm at the DMV, you should know that I'm taking things seriously.
Right?
Like, nobody's just showing up to fool you.
Right.
I'm not going there unless I'm trying to never come back again.
It's like they call you up and you're like, I don't need anything. I just like hanging out, sitting here watching a TV bolted to the ceiling. That's my idea of a good time. Yeah.
Have a mean lady take a picture of me that looks worse than anything I've ever experienced and then said, keep it.
Yeah. Catch up on your Judge Judy. Muted.
All right, Allison, you're doing really well. You have one last quote. Here it is.
It stings because I've been saving money, and this is my special moment.
That was someone, a young woman, as you could tell from Alzo's impression.
Thank you very much. I worked on that.
I could see it. I could see it in my mind's eye. That was a young woman speaking to the Wall Street Journal about how tariffs just sent her flower and dress budget through the roof for her upcoming what?
Wedding.
Yes, her wedding. Top of everything else, the Trump tariffs are making wedding planning really hard and, of course, really expensive. It's so hard for the couples who chose a "we bought it all" and Temu theme for their wedding.
Was it like Tip O'Neill that said all politics is local? Meaning, I don't care that much about this story, but based on my track record, talk to me when divorces get more expensive, because that's really my sweet spot.
Exactly. President Trump defended the rising wedding costs, saying, come on, it's expensive, but it's something you'll do, 4 or 5 times in your life tops?
I see you.
Yep.
You know why divorces are so expensive?
Because they're worth it.
There you go.
We worked that out backstage.
Yeah.
I've never been divorced, so I wasn't included.
And it's going to affect everybody when you get an invitation for you and a -1. And here's the thing. The Wall Street Journal, which wrote about this, says that some people are so freaked out by the coming price rises and everything that they're stocking up for weddings they haven't even scheduled yet, just to make sure that when the time comes, they have the stuff. Nothing gives you the ick like being on a first date and walking into their living room and finding 200 votive candles just waiting for the right guy.
Yeah.
That is just a nice lady in her 20s.
I'm saying, though, yeah.
Also, how did Allison do in our quiz?
She was amazing. 3 for 3.
Brilliant. Well done, Allison.
Thank you.
May you continue to have good luck going forward. Thank you so much for playing.
Thank you.
Right now, panel, it is time for you to answer some questions about the week's news. Luke, there is a new style trend. Some men on social media are trying to look more masculine by shaving off what?
Ooh. Shaving.
Eyebrows?
Is it eyebrows?
Lower.
Okay.
Eyelashes?
A little bit lower.
Soul patch?
Higher.
Okay. We're narrowing in on it here. A mustache? Eyelashes?
Yes, eyelashes. Eyelashes. Yes, men are shaving off their eyelashes.
What a
In a
terrible
growing trend
idea.
among those men who, yes, would in fact jump off a cliff if that's what their friends did. Men are going into barbershops and asking their barbers for an eyelash trim because eyelashes are now too feminine.
Wow.
It's true. What's more manly than constantly crying because of all the dust in your eyes?
Have you ever met a woman? I love a man with nice eyelashes. This is how you know men only talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls like eyelashes. We especially like them when they look like ours because we are egotistical.
That's how you do butterfly kisses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. What's going to happen to the
Everybody
butterfly
does.
kiss
Yeah.
industry?
And then all the men just gonna have pink eye. You know it.
Yes.
Coming up, our panelists give you a civics lesson in our Bluff the Listener game called 1-888-WAIT-WAIT to play. We'll be back in a minute with more of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me from NPR.
Learn more
An everyday produce season in it.
materials and /NPR.
And Luke Burbank. And here again is your host at the Studebaker Theater in Chicago, Illinois, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Alzo. Right now, it's time for the Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Thank you, everybody. Right now, it's time for the Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me Bluff the Listener game. Call 1-888-WAIT-WAIT to play our game on the air. Or you can always check out the pinned post on our Instagram page at WaitWaitNPR. Hi, you're on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Hi, this is Femi IE from Nashua, New Hampshire.
Hey, Femi, how are you? What do you do there in Nashua?
I am a independent mortgage bank executive. I help people buy homes.
Do you really?
Yeah, I work the machinery that's behind the loan process to manufacture loans from raw effort into this horrible commodity that we all trade.
Wow. You're like a mortgage farmer. You're out there in the fields, tilling the fields, growing mortgages.
That's the thing. That's the thing that we do all day.
Exactly, yes, a mortgage farmer. Well, Femi, it's nice to have you with us. You're going to play the game in which you have to tell truth from fiction. Also, what is his topic?
Have I got a great deal for you on a 2016 Honda Civic?
All right. Recently, somebody bought themselves a sweet ride, a 2016 Honda Civic Type R. They did all the usual due diligence. They kicked the tires, checked the Carfax, made sure it hadn't said anything racist on Twitter. But nonetheless, the buyer of this car ended up getting quite a surprise. Our panelists are going to tell you about it, pick the real story, and you will win the Wait Waiter of your choice on your voicemail. Are you ready to play?
I am.
All right. Our first 2016 Civic comes from Roy Blunt Jr.
When Bobby Higgins Sr. of Mound, Alabama, saw that 2016 Honda Civic Type R in the lot, it spoke to him. He kicked the tires, he drove it around the block and bought it. Cranked it up, turned some music on from the nostalgia station, and oozed on out of there. Suddenly, he was not alone. On the dashboard, a mouse, and then another mouse. Bobby Sr. jammed on the brakes, and, now I've lost my thread. I forgot to change Brendan to Bobby.
It's a very real story.
Bobby Sr. jammed on the brakes. Who wants a vermin-ridden car? Then the two little mice began to dance. They were doing the bossa nova. Several more mouse couples emerged and joined the show. And more and more. Well, long story short, a local showman had in fact been searching for missing dancing mice. But here's what interested scientists. There were more dancing mice in Bobby Sr.'s car than had been missing. The original dancing mice apparently had reproduced and taught the next generation to dance as a survival tactic, which worked.
This Honda Civic came with apparently a multi-generational family of performing mice. Your next pre-owned parable comes from Shantira Jackson.
Jennifer Henry really lucked out when she saw the Craigslist posting for a used 2016 Honda Civic R hatchback. Sure, it was kind of beat up. The AC didn't work. You needed rope to close the trunk. And when she went over 65, it shook like a rocket ship at takeoff. But it was hers, and she loved it. One day, when she got in the car, the AC was suddenly working. And sooner or later, a lot of things in the car started to improve. Instead of a shake, that baby started to sing. And not to be weird, but the wheels even seemed bigger. Jennifer wasn't going to question the improvements. She just felt lucky until one evening when she saw on the news that a street racing ring had been broken up and there was a Honda Civic speeding away from the cops. As they announced the license plate number, she realized that little speed demon was her car. Turns out that she had unknowingly purchased a car that is prized among street racers for its aerodynamics, and a local car racer had been stealing her car in the middle of the night, souping it up and racing it Fast and Furious style. Her car was eventually returned to her with just a few scratches, a new radiator, and a big pile of red light speeding tickets.
Woman buys a car to find that it's a valuable racer, which she
it
discovers
to
by
be true,
someone taking it and racing it
no.
every night while making improvements. Your last story of a wowie about somebody's whip comes from Luke Burbank.
February 28th was a crap day for Ewan Valentine of Solihull, England. He walked out of his house only to find that his beloved Honda Civic, a 2016 Type R custom racing model, complete with rims and a spoiler, had been stolen. I was gutted, he told the BBC this week, and I was determined to get it replaced before one day I have to get something that's a little more family-friendly. So that's exactly what Ewan did, jumping on the internet and managing to find a similar car for sale one town over. Valentine bought the car and was feeling good as he drove home until he started noticing things. A candy wrapper on the floor that looked kind of familiar. A peg for a tent that was like a tent he had. Even the car's smell. But that couldn't be, right? The VIN numbers were different. Well, then he punched his address into the navigation, and it was already pre-loaded. As was his parents' address, as were all of his saved addresses, because this was his car. A part of me felt triumphant, said Valentine, but then part of me felt stupid because I had just bought back my own car for 20,000 pounds.
So somebody bought a Honda Civic and got quite a surprise. What was that surprise? Was it from Roy Blunt Jr. that the car was occupied by a multi-generational troupe of dancing mice? From Shantira Jackson that the car was a racer and was being borrowed every night, improved, and raced before being brought back home before daylight? Or from Luke Burbank that it was the very same car that it had been stolen from the guy shortly before, but he didn't notice it until he was driving it home?
Most likely C, but I'll go with B.
Yeah, you're going B, Kat. You're going C.
Yeah.
It's really a toss-up between the two.
If it's A, I'm quitting and getting more tea because obviously, I need more tea.
Or less.
No, more. I've only had one cup.
They're all unbelievable. All of them are pretty unbelievable.
Just watch it be all three of them.
Right. I'm gonna go C. I'm going with you on this one, Kat. 2 votes for C, 1 for D, 1 for B. Let's see what happens.
C is the actual answer, but I'm going with.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it was Luke Burbank's story because that sounds like it would have been a good Top Gear episode.
Okay. Your choice is Luke's story. Well, here is some news coverage of the real car.
The man paid more than $20,000 to buy his own stolen car.
That was Kimberly Hahn of ABC 10 News San Diego talking about the man buying his own stolen car. Congratulations, Femi. You got it right. You earned a point for Luke. You've won our prize, the voice of your choice in your voicemail. Congratulations and well done.
I feel terrible for the guy.
I am a winner.
You are a winner in this and in all things. Thank you so much for playing, and thanks for giving Luke a point.
Now, great. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Gonna jump in my car. Gonna jump in my car. Turn up the radio. Got nothing to lose. Got nothing to lose. Everything to win.
And now the game we call Not My Job. Nathan Lane is a movie and TV star and an absolute Broadway legend. He was last on our show a few years ago to promote the first season of Only Murders in the Building. But he's now starring in a new sitcom, Mid-Century Modern, where he plays a gay man living with his two best friends. And thankfully, at least as of the end of the first season, none of them have been murdered. Nathan Lane, welcome back to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the new show. I have been watching it and enjoying it immensely. It's on Hulu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
This is not the first time you have starred in a TV show, though, but it may be the most successful.
I mean, in terms of a multi-camera show in front of a live audience, I've done a couple in the past that haven't been so successful. So this has been a great pleasure.
Right. And so what happened? Did you just have poor luck in the past?
Well, I don't know how much time you have. When I was a kid, I was cast in a show, a situation comedy starring Mickey Rooney and Dana Carvey called One of the Boys.
Okay.
Oh. And that was, I knew going into that, it was not going to last. And Dana still talks about it. He's still traumatized by Mickey Rooney, as we all were. And then I did a show with the creators of Frasier, and I thought that would be a good idea. They had won the Emmy 5 years in a row, and they pitched me an idea I didn't like, and then I pitched them an idea they didn't like, and then they came up with this idea that we wound up doing, in which I was going to play a famous opera singer who lost his voice in a freak accident and had to leave the opera world, and he went to live with his mother and sister at their winery in the Napa Valley. And
wow.
By the time the premise was, you were finished explaining it, people had left the room.
Yes.
That didn't go so well.
No.
So this is exciting. The show, let's talk about Mid-Century Modern.
Okay.
My understanding is that it was pitched to you. This was made by the creators of the classic and brilliant sitcom Will and Grace, and they came to you and they said, it's a gay Golden Girls. Is that correct? Is that how they pitched it?
Yes, and I thought, well, that's kind of redundant, but
because we love the Golden Girls.
It was actually Ryan Murphy. I was working for Ryan Murphy doing this miniseries about the Menendez brothers, and he had read this script, and he had never done a situation comedy before, a multi-camera situation comedy, but he thought the script was great, and they had written it, I was told, with me in mind. And so I read it, and I thought it was hilarious, and that's how it all came to be.
When you were on the show last time, you talked about some odd jobs you had. But we were looking over your resume, and you are a Broadway legend. I don't know how many Tonys you've won. You're just rule that street. But I found out that you're...
I've won 3.
3. 3.
What?
You keep count. I don't keep count.
He sounds a little...
One Tony for each panelist.
Exactly. But I found out that your Broadway debut was very surprising to me. It was a show called Merlin with... No, it was not your Broadway debut.
No, that's wrong.
You actually get a point for that, Nathan.
Yeah.
My Broadway debut was in 1982 at the Circle and Square Theater. I did a revival of the Noel Coward play, Present Laughter, directed by and starring George C. for Cuddles Scott. For those who remember George C.
I remember him well, but so I'm sorry, that was not. But then you did Merlin with Doug Henning. Doug Henning was this, for those who don't remember, he was a very famous magician in like the 70s.
And funny.
He was sort of famous for his sort of, shall we say, hippie aura. Would that be accurate?
Absolutely. Marty Short on SCTV used to do an impression of him. He had a severe overbite, and he was trying to bring magic back to the magic profession, and so he did not refer to what he did as tricks, but they were illusions. and he was a lovely man, and Doug was I don't know if you've heard, but he was a triple threat. He couldn't sing, act, or he was a lovely guy, and the first rule of musical theater is don't do a show that's built around magic tricks or illusions. So So yeah, it did have a little bit of a run, but yes, it was doomed from the start.
And yet here you are.
And when I remember having to tell, I had to leave Present Laughter, and I had to tell George C. Scott that I was leaving the show to do this musical. Because he knocked on my door, and I opened it, and he said to me, "You're leaving me to do a magic show?"
This is going to be the outtakes for people that support public radio at a very high dollar number.
I have mixed feelings about making you play. I'd just rather hear more stories, but you know the rules. If you come on the show, you play a game, Nathan, and this time we've asked you here to play a game we're calling...
Hey, stay in your lane, Nathan Lane.
So, yeah, your name being Nathan Lane, as we all know, we were going to ask you about staying in your lane and other driving-related matters.
You're kidding, because I don't drive.
Well, I wondered about that.
This is the wrong game for me.
It's like a Zen thing. An empty mind leads to success here. Here we go. Who is Nathan Lane playing for?
David Young of Phoenix, Arizona.
Finland is pretty serious about speeding tickets. When one guy was pulled over in 2023 for driving less than 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, what happened to him? A, the gas was drained from his car by police, and he had to push it home. B, he was fined more than $100,000. Or C, he was forced to stand on a nearby corner for a whole day and hold up a sign saying, "I am sorry."
C.
I think the last one.
The sign, he had to stand there.
A sign saying, "I'm sorry."
In Finnish, presumably.
In Finnish, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. No, he was actually fined more than $100,000. You see, Finland has this system where they have a sliding scale for moving violation fines based on your income, and he was really rich.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you hear that,
audience?
audience?
2 more questions, and you have a lot of fans in this room, so I think you'll be okay. We get news accounts every week about people using dummies to drive in the carpool lane. Are you aware of this, Nathan? Perhaps you've seen it in California.
Oh,
they have
sure.
these high occupancy
I
vehicles.
always travel with dummies. Yeah.
Exactly. And one such person who tried that got himself into even more trouble when he got pulled over, and the highway patrolman came up to give him a ticket for driving in the carpool lane with a dummy. What did the man do to get himself in trouble? A, he claimed, "That's not a dummy. That's where I hide all my drugs." B leaned over to the dummy and said loudly enough for the cop to hear, "Don't worry, I got this." Or C, just quickly swapped seats and claimed the dummy was driving.
C. C. B.
I say he leaned over and said, "Don't worry, I got this."
You're right. You're right. All right, you have one more question. If you get this right, you win.
Do.
If you don't like driving, you can take one of those self-driving taxis that are now cruising around Los Angeles and San Francisco. But you should be aware they come with a bit of a risk. What is that risk? A, the taxis are programmed to find the shortest route to the destination, which has led to them driving through houses, up stairways, and down into sewers. B, they periodically interface with your phone and take you to places from your incognito mode search history.
Oh, no.
Or C, the mobs of people who sometimes attack the cars and set them on fire.
C.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the arsonist in the audience.
You're right. That's what's happening. So far, I should say. They haven't done it to any autonomous taxi with a passenger in it, but they have done it, and one of these days they might get carried away. Also, how did Nathan Lane do on our quiz this time?
He got enough points to win the game and an honorary driver's license.
Well done. Nathan Lane, I cannot tell you what a thrill it is for me to talk to you after a lifetime of being a fan. Nathan Lane is starring in Mid-Century Modern on Hulu. Nathan Lane, thank you so much for being with us today. What a pleasure to have you.
LinkedIn ads. Target message comes from more people. LinkedIn ads. credit on your next campaign.
WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Alzo Slade. We're playing this week with Roy Blunt Jr., Luke Burbank, and Shantira Jackson. And here again is your host at the Studebaker Theater in Chicago, Illinois, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Alzo. In just a minute, it's you versus poetry in a no-holds-barred grudge match. If you'd like to play the Listener Limerick Challenge, give us a call at 1-888-WAIT-WAIT. That's 1-888-924-8924. But right now, panel, some more questions for you from the week's news. Luke, a new burger joint has opened in California where all the food is lovingly made by whom?
Robots?
Cows. No. That would be horribly cruel.
Yeah, that would be pretty dark. Lovingly, it's a burger joint.
Burger joint.
Are the people, is their age?
I didn't say they were people.
Robots.
Okay. Is this robots?
It is a robot burger joint. Burger Bots. Burger Bots is a new restaurant in Los Gatos, California, where all the food is made by robots. And if you did not hate them enough, just for me saying that, their slogan is, "We are the droids you've been looking for."
Oh,
I know.
Oh,
I
really?
don't mind having at least one robot there. That way, if somebody wants to start yelling, you can just do that at the robot and leave the children alone.
Yes, right. Just yell at the robot.
Yeah, just yell at the robot.
So if the customer gets angry, a robot comes from the back saying, "Excuse
There's a
me,
couple-
I'm the manager.
Yeah.
Can I help you?"
Yeah, and I want them to sound just like that.
Right. I mean, what's
Now, that
funny
would
is
be
they're
hilarious.
using pre-existing industrial robots, and they program them to do the task, because they're very good these days. And you just got to imagine, the robots back there making the burgers going, "I was designed to manufacture cars. I thought I'd be making spaceships, and I'm just flipping burgers."
Yeah.
I'm doing this to work my way through community college so I can get a desk job.
Why do all your
I'm
robots
doing
sound like
this
they're
so
from the
I don't have to
1970s?
be a stripper.
That's the last time I understood how a robot
Exactly. Shantira, this week, a second grader playing with his mom's phone, quote, accidentally, unquote, did what?
Okay, I think I saw this, spent $5,000 on Roblox or something.
Yeah.
Not Roblox.
Can I have a hint?
Oh.
Well, she shouldn't have left her browser open on 70,000lollipops.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw
Lollipops.
that.
Yeah.
The
Spend
dum-dums?
money on candy.
Yes.
Lollipops.
Yeah,
the kid
lollipop,
ordered
yeah.
70,000
I
lollipops.
saw that. And she tried to cancel it, and Amazon said no.
Wait a minute, Jeff Bezos was being mean to someone? That doesn't check out.
Yes.
After getting a hold of his mom's phone, the youngster got onto Amazon and ordered 70,000 dum-dum lollipops, totaling over
Yeah.
$4,000 in cost, depleting the Strategic National Lollipop Reserve and sending the barbershop and bank lobby communities into crisis mode.
I feel like that's what we need AI for.
What?
To watch the internet and be like, "Are you sure?" That's
sure
a job
you
for
meant
a
to do
computer.
that?
To be like, "I don't know, lady. Do you really want this?"
It's like Janice's browsing history involves 0 candy purchases, and one day she goes for $4,000 of Dum-Dums. That seems, you're right, Shantira, that's something
like-
the computer could
Like,
catch.
stop trying to make AI recreate Notting Hill and let them do that. That is what AI is for.
Exactly. Roy, question for you. Scientists announced the development of what might be the first universal snake antivenom, and they were able to do it with the help of a Wisconsin construction contractor who's been pursuing what hobby for 20 years?
Getting bit by
Collecting
snakes.
snakes.
Not just collecting them, but doing what with
Getting
them?
bitten by
Letting
them.
them bite him.
Exactly. For the past 20 years, a man named Tim Frieda in Wisconsin has been collecting venomous snakes and letting them bite him. On occasion, he only did it 200 times.
He did this because the eyelash removal surgery didn't fully masculinize him.
Exactly.
Right.
I think men will do anything but go to therapy.
It's really true.
Pretty much, Shantira. Pretty much.
If you're his wife and
You
you're watching
nailed
him
it.
saying, "I'm going to let the snake bite me again," you're like, how many times does that have to happen before she says, "I think this is about something else"?
Yes.
You said he only
How many
did it on
times before
occasion.
the snake
Does that mean
says,
like his
"Are you sure
birthday
you're
or
okay, man?"
No, I didn't say on special occasions.
Yeah.
Well,
I
go
don't
ahead
want
and
any
keep
cake.
collecting
Just
snakes.
bring out the snake.
Bring out the water moccasin, it's Flag Day.
Yeah.
We got a new pope. Bite me.
Coming up, it's lightning fill in the blank, but first it's the game where you have to listen for the rhyme. If you'd like to play on air, call or leave a message at 1-888-WAIT-WAIT. That's 1-888-924-8924. You can see us most weeks right here at the Studebaker Theater in Chicago, or you can catch us on the road. We'll be in Des Moines, Iowa on July 10th, and at Tanglewood in Western Massachusetts on August 28th. For tickets and info about all of our live shows, just head on over to nprpresents.org. Hi, you're on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Hi, this is Kristen calling from Mount Lake Terrace, Washington.
Mount Lake Terrace. What up? Where is Mount Lake Terrace? Is that like near the coast?
It's basically between Seattle and Linwood.
Okay.
A little north.
I have no idea where Linwood is, but I'll just take your word for it.
Do you like to kick it at the Mount Lake Terrace Pavilion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Oh, you didn't tell me it was where the Mount Lake Terrace Pavilion is.
Mount Lake Terrace? That's three different things.
I'm going to ask you where you're from. I just want you to say Seattle, and we'll get on with it, okay?
Right. All right, sounds good.
Welcome to the show, Kristen. Alzo Slade is going to read you 3 news-related limericks with the last word or phrase missing from each. If you can fill in that last word or phrase correctly, and 2 of the limericks will be a winner. Ready to go?
Sounds great.
Here's your first limerick.
Today's pre-rolls brought to you by the Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, on the Downtown Mall, 105 West Main Street, above the Brick, Suite 200. A great place to go with some great buds to get some great buds. A bud, and the only thing better than their bud is their customer service. And they have the lowest prices in town, according to my own highly biased research, by which I mean I was incredibly high when I did my biased research. Also, it's between Green Cauldron and Hamilton's. Missed that detail earlier. Don't forget to check the website for times and events. The website is thehiddenleafcville.com. That's thehiddenleafcville.com. Back to the show.
Limerick.
Public transit can be quite a fuss. We're cops. Don't be bothering us. Our beef's on the street, not there by your seat. To remove smelly food from a
bus. Right. Police in Ireland were sent to stop a bus after a passenger complained about someone eating really smelly chips. You know the golden rule, smell something, say something. The police actually refused to stop the bus. That's because it turns out they were cheese and onion-flavored chips, so they called in the SWAT team.
When you're on public transit, if somebody does something crazy, leave them alone.
Wait. Don't provoke them.
Don't provoke them. If somebody's bold enough to be like, yeah, I want to eat onions next to you, you need to know that they're risking it all.
It is amazing to think you're on a bus, somebody starts eating stinky chips, and you're like, police?
Yeah.
All right, here is your next limerick.
The flight crew is silently creeping, while the cleaners are wiping and sweeping. We won't disturb guests as they're getting some rest. We just leave them behind if they are
sleeping.
Sleeping, yes. According to United Airlines, there's an alarming rise in accounts of sleeping passengers left on airplanes after their flight has landed. Because who hasn't just gotten done with a cramped 5-hour flight and thought, but I'm so comfortable. Just 15 more minutes, please.
5 more minutes. 5 more minutes.
I want to know what flight this is. Everybody I get on a plane with stand up before we land.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Where
Ready to
going?
get off.
The flight attendants promise going forward they'll be extra diligent and wake up passengers, in the traditional way, running into their elbows hard with the drink cart. All right, here's your last limerick.
When the next Golden Globes will be broadcast, all home studio people applaud fast. Now basements with mics will see a big spike, because the Globes have a prize for best
podcast. The Golden Globes. You know them. They've always marketed themselves as the wildest award ceremony in Hollywood. Now they're ramping up the excitement by honoring the most boring art form. The top 25 podcasts of the year will be eligible for the Best Podcast Golden Globes. Imagine, a chance for Hollywood elites like Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya to mingle on the red carpet with Michael Barbaro and the Hawk Tuah girl.
I just know that the worst person you've ever met is going to try and get a Golden Globe.
Exactly.
Listen, I would like to say, as a podcaster, This is
podcaster.
ridiculous.
Thank
Unless
you.
I'm nominated, in which case, let's give it a moment, everyone. Let's see how it plays out, okay?
It's very nice. It's very nice that the Golden Globes are announcing this new category early because it gives all the podcast hosts plenty of time to borrow a suit.
Ouch!
I'll go. How did Kristen do on our quiz?
but ouch!
She won the game 3 out of 3.
Well done.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Bye-bye.
All right.
This message comes from Amica Insurance to you today. Go to
changes that brings NPR.
Your family and your community podcast from NPR.
Shantira and Roy are knotted up in a tie at 2, and Luke has 4.
Ooh, how'd that happen? All
That
right.
bluff will really help you.
It's your
Okay.
birthday.
So that means that Shantira and Roy are tied for second. Shantira, we'll just start with you. Here we go. The clock will start when I begin your first question. Fill in the
Ready?
blank. On Tuesday, Chuck Schumer called for an investigation into the issues that shut down the airport in blank briefly.
Jersey.
Right. On Wednesday, the Federal Reserve voted to keep blanks steady.
The Constitution.
No, that's not going to help. Interest rates. This week, the House GOP passed a bill renaming the Gulf of Mexico blank.
It's still the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. I guess.
Right. This week, a woman in Greece filed for divorce after blank told her that her husband was cheating.
Her husband.
No, after ChatGPT told her that.
Oh.
On Monday,
I
membership-based
meant
dieting
to.
company blank filed for bankruptcy.
The one that my mom probably had the shakes for.
Weight Watchers.
Yes.
On Tuesday, Abu Dhabi was announced as the location for blank's first new theme park to be built in over 20 years.
Disney.
Disney.
Yes. This week, a tourist in the Philippines who was bitten by a crocodile explained he only entered the crocodile's enclosure because blank.
He asked him to.
No, he entered because he thought the crocodile was fake. Police said the man mistook the 15-foot reptile for a statue, clambered over the chain link fence in the zoo, waded into the shallow water as he took out his cell phone to take a selfie.
That's a lot of work for something you're not supposed to be doing.
That's true. Officials say the incident was almost a disaster, whereas the crocodile said it almost worked. Also, how did Shantira do in our quiz?
She got 3 right for 6 points, which gives her a total of 8, and she is now in the lead.
All right, well done. Roy Blunt, you are up next. Here we go, Roy. Fill in the blank. On Thursday, President Trump announced a new trade deal with blank.
China. Or Great Britain.
Yes, UK. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court allowed Trump's ban on blank troops to go forward.
His ban on
transgender. That's right. This week, the U.S. surpassed 1,000 cases of blank.
Measles.
Right. On Thursday, scientists discovered a genetic mutation that allowed some people to thrive on just 4 hours of blank.
Sleep.
Right. This week, a man in Britain was shocked when he opened his bag of potato chips and found blank inside.
A mouse.
Let's see.
Money?
A little bitty alligator.
No, just one really, really big chip.
Okay.
On Wednesday, cast members from a touring production of Les Miserables said they would boycott a performance at the blank.
Oh, at
White
the
House.
Kennedy Center.
Right. On Thursday, NASA warned that a Soviet-era blank would likely fall to the Earth this week.
Satellite.
Satellite.
Thing.
Yeah, spacecraft. After sending in a helicopter to rescue a man who got stranded while climbing Mount Fuji, rescue workers in Japan had to save him again 4 days later after he blanked.
He
went back
to get his cell phone.
He did exactly that, Roy.
Yep. I remember that.
After being rescued the first time, the man quickly realized he had to scale the mountain again because he'd left his phone behind. Even worse, when he was being airlifted out again, he was like, hey, thanks, but one of you guys grab my keys, right? Also, how did Roy do in our quiz? Pretty well, I thought.
Roy slayed it. He got 7 right for 14 points, which gives him a total of 16, and he is now in the lead.
All right.
I've only gotten 5 right so far in this round.
Then, how many does Luke Burbank need to win?
6 to tie, but we're not looking for ties right now. 7 to win, Luke.
Here we go, Luke. This is for the game. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister of Pakistan vowed decisive action after blank launched strikes against his country.
Israel.
The Taliban.
No, India. This week, the official coronation portrait of blank was made public.
King William. Is he king yet?
No.
King Charles?
King Charles,
Okay,
yes.
Dad.
According to...
Is that how that works?
That is generally how it works. According to new data, the state
That
of
threw me
blank
off.
surpassed Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy.
The state of
California. Right. Months after zoos in China were caught painting dogs black and white and claiming they were pandas, a tourist attraction there blanked.
Put up a sign that said, "Our alligators are very real."
No, this tourist attraction just painted the top of a small hill white and said, "That's Mount Fuji."
Did they put the guy up there,
I
too,
hope
with
so.
his phone?
On Wednesday, streaming giant Blank announced it was testing a TikTok-like vertical video mode for phones.
Netflix?
Right.
Netflix.
On Monday, Simone Biles, Coleman Domingo, and other celebrities attended the 2025 Blank
Met Gala.
Right. This week, a man in the UK was arrested for riding the train without a ticket on the way to Blank.
The giant potato chip festival.
No, on the way to court to face 36 charges of riding the train without a ticket.
Oh, no.
According to police, this man is now one of the UK's most notorious fare dodgers. Thanks to this new charge, he now faces jail time as part of Britain's 37 strikes and you're out policy. Also, did Luke do well enough to win?
Absolutely not. He got 4 right for 8 points for a total of 12. Roy kicked everybody's butt.
Yay! Go Roy!
Wins it all. In just a minute, we're going to ask our panelists to predict what will be the new Pope's first official edict. But first, let me tell you that Wait, Don't Tell Me is a production of NPR and WBEZ Chicago in association with Urgent Haircut Productions, Doug Berman, Benevolent Overlord. Philip Goedeke writes our limericks. Our public address announcer is Paul Friedman. Our tour manager is Shana Donald. Thanks to the staff and crew at the Studebaker Theater. BJ Liederman composed our theme. Our program is produced by Jennifer Mills, Miles Dornbos, and Lillian King. Special thanks to Mohanad El-Sheikhi and Monica Hickey. Peter Gwynn, now that's a name that I haven't heard in a long time. Emma Choi is our vibe curator. Today we say goodbye to our fellow Hannah Anderson, whose time with us has come to an end. Hannah, we cannot thank you enough for the laughs and for the candy that your mom sent from your home in Canada. If things get bad, we might ask you to smuggle some lumber across the border. And if things get really bad, we might ask you to legally adopt us. Technical direction for our show is from Lorna White. Our CFO is Colin Miller. Our production manager is Robert Newhouse. Our senior producer is Ian Chillog. And the executive producer of Wait, Don't Tell Me is Mike Danforth. Now, panel, what would be the first edict of Robert Prevost, now known as Pope Leo XIV? Yay! Luke Burbank.
Ketchup on a hot dog is now a mortal sin.
Shantira Jackson.
He's going to make Carmi from The Bear a saint, and now confessions, you have to say 3 Hail Marys and a yes, chef.
And Roy Blunt Jr.
I like that.
Hey, y'all, I'm an American. Call me Bob.
And if any of that happens, panel, we'll ask you about it on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Thank you, Alzo Slade, for doing us a fine job. Thanks also to Luke Burbank, Shantira Jackson, and Roy Blunt Jr. Thanks to all of you for listening to us. I am Peter Sagan. We'll see you next week.
Bring.
This is NPR.
So the scores are me coming in third place with a measly 25. Chaotic Techno Wizard, a.k.a. the Peanut Gallery, doing slightly better with 26. And Kat, the ASOC prod, hitting it home with a 31. I really really did not nail it on the speed round this week.
Well, I mean, some of their answers threw everybody off and just left us.
Yeah. So, but it was good. It was a good show. A lot of fun. It was a lot of fun listening to Nathan Lane tell stories. I could just listen to him for days.
That's the point of being a good storyteller.
Yeah. Well, friends, thank you for being here. Stick around for the raid as we raid out to JB 1200. We've still got about 15 minutes left on his set, so stick around as we raid out to JB 1200 of the No Pants Raid Train, the Sunday No Pants Raid Train, hosted by my future ex-husband, Lockpick. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Peanut Gallery. Thank you, Just Me Crystal. Much love to everybody. Am I forgetting anybody in the chat there?
Nope, those are the only ones.
That's all of them. All right. Well, friends, stick around for the raid, and now is the time on the show when I say, as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down, VA, double deuces. We're out, y'all.